Hey there! So, this is probably a weird format for a video. However, recently my stutter has been a lot more problematic for me, and I've noticed that if I'm laying on the floor, I can actually say full sentences, usually, without having a huge issue. So this is the format for today's video. For the song Fractalized, the themes for this one is a little more vague. It has traces of themes like empathy and love. However, it also contrasts that with these really abstract images like astral rain and tectonic vices. This track also, relative to the rest of the tracks on the project, I think has the most syncopation, in particular in the kick and bass. I also think that the overall aesthetic for this track is a vibe of something will happen soon, but you don't really know what, and you won't know what until it happens. It's like a really sort of ritualistic and intimidating sort of vibe. This song is also the harbinger of the final track of the project, Bioluminescent Soul. This is the case for a couple reasons. The first reason is that this track has similar vibes of tension and grandiosity. And also, if you listen to the very final section of Fractalized, it transitions from a creepy sounding sort of chanting section into pretty much silence, and then it explodes into this like massive soundscape. Something similar happens in Opalescent Soul as well. I also think that this is I believe the second track I worked on with Rachel Hardy. The first one was Ocean Infinite. She just knocks it out of the park every time. In particular, I really enjoy how she uses, I believe it's head voice for the intro section, and also the creepy chanting section right before the explosion of sound. This is one of the things I really love about working with others. Also, here's my cat. But anyway, I usually head into a project with a very specific vision. However, I leave myself fully open to pretty much whatever the people I'm working with think might work smoother. For example, for this track, I think Ray suggested holding out a different word from what I had originally had written, and she suggested this for the reason that it could sound smoother. So I said sure, and surprise surprise, it actually was smoother. As I said, this is what I really love about collaboration. I head into projects with a certain vision. However, I'm always open to whatever someone else suggests, because chances are they're more skilled at that particular thing. For Moments of Love, I will kind of talk in a sort of roundabout way for this one, so we'll find the plot eventually. So first of all, my fiance and I have been together for I think 8.5 years. I think at this point, the honeymoon phase doesn't really exist. However, that was replaced with a much more deep and strong love. And that general feeling is pretty much what Moments of Love is loosely inspired by. Moments of Love is also where the main lyrical motif of the project appears. The chant of "Your joy is my joy, your pain is my pain, we are one, fractalized." Bioluminescent Soundwaves as a whole has a theme of empathy and love. So this motif is essentially the cornerstone of the entire project. This motif also appears in a total of 3 tracks, including this one. It appears in Moments of Love, Fractalized, and Opalescent Soul. I think this is the 3rd track I've worked on with Julie, and she also always just knocks it out of the park. This project as a whole has a large and ethereal vibe, and her voice lends itself so well. I was in awe of how well it fit. When I was mixing her vocals in, it was kind of like finishing a sculpture. I pretty much knew right away when the track as a whole was finished without a shred of doubt. And also, Julie is one of the sweetest people I have ever met, and it is an absolute pleasure working on tracks with her. Okay, so now I am going to kind of ramble on for a few minutes or so on just how I feel about this project as a whole. I think working on Bioluminescent Soundwaves really elucidated for me just how starved I was for a chance to properly express myself through music. I think over the past 2 years, since early 2022 or so, I have worked on a lot of tracks for other things. However, I think I worked on maybe 5 or so tracks just for myself since 2022 and including 2023. So when I had the opportunity to work on a project just for the sake of art itself, I really realized like, oh yeah, so that's why I got into music in the first place. I think that Bioluminescent Soundwaves is actually one of the projects I've always wanted to create ever since I started working on music in very early 2016. For the longest time, I couldn't really create something like this because I didn't have the knowledge for it, I didn't really have the skills for it, and I also didn't really know the people I know now. However, over the past 8 years, I've gotten a lot better at arrangement, at mixing, and I've also connected with some really awesome people who were generous enough to lend their talents to this project. Thanks for watching me ramble to the camera from the floor, and take care.